In today's video, I want to talk about what to do when you're sick at Disney. You plan and plan and plan, you spend all kinds of money, you have this dream vacation, and then you get sick. It happens. Unfortunately, I found out the very hard way that it happens. So leading up to our trip, Trevor had gotten sick, and Trevor was never sick. He is the one kid that we can have a stomach bug rip through this house and he will not be affected. So that was prior to school getting out. And then Aubrey got it. And I actually took Aubrey to urgent care to make sure, because Aubrey has a tendency to turn into walking pneumonia when she gets sick. They gave me some good medicine for her. We got her all set, and they were both on the mend when we got to Disney. Around the day before, I got horribly ill. So leading up to this, I work as a substitute teacher and I'm a travel agent. And you know, I was working hard. I was working some really long days. And on top of that, I volunteer for PTA, and my event is the holiday shop. So it was like the week before we left for Disney, maybe a week and a half, we had my event as well. So it was just a lot of work. I was working really, really hard, and then I was coming home and I was making shirts and trying to keep my house clean and trying to plan for Christmas. On top of all of this, we got news that my husband's mother had about 2 to 3 weeks to live. So then it was like scurry and try to get my husband to Massachusetts to say goodbye to his mom. So my body crashed and burned, and I should have seen it coming. I should have known that it was coming where the kids had gotten sick. I work in a school. I was working every single day. Kids were like sneezing in my personal bubble. I should have known, and shame on me for not taking better care of myself. I should have taken some airborne or something. But so like the day or two before we left, so our school got out on a Wednesday, I think. We left for Disney, I think, on Friday or Saturday. I hadn't packed, so I spent most of those 2 days before we left for Disney. My husband was gone, so excuse me, I was trying to put away all of our Christmas decorations, take our tree down because we had a real tree, and I just got sick. It was bad, but I was like, just, you know, trying to push through while I was packing and everything. And then we got to Disney and it was bad. You can hear in the vlogs, you can hear how sick I was. I lost my voice at one point in time. We got there, I think, on the 20th. So the 20th I felt pretty awful. The 21st I felt okay, but I think it was because it was such like, we haven't been to Disney in 18 months. This is so exciting. Things are great. We woke up at 5:15 in the morning. All was well. That day we left the parks around like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. And as we were coming back on the bus, my whole body started shaking, and Jeff felt me. He's like, you are on fire. So I took some medicine, started to feel a little bit better, and we just slept that day. We ended up going back to Grand Floridian that night. And you know, I was not feeling well at all. So we went and we snuck back into Magic Kingdom, and I actually went to first aid. So first things first, if you are sick at Disney, go to the first aid. They're actually nurses that work there. So I went and I told her, I'm like, look, this is day 1 of a 10-day trip. I'm shaking, I had a fever, we got it to break, but I just don't feel good. So she checked me over and she's like, I think what you have is viral. She's like, I honestly think what you have is viral. She's like, it could be the flu. She's like, but I just don't think so. She's like, so, you know, take this and this and this. Like, she kind of gave me like a concoction of over-the-counter stuff I could take. Call your doctor, see if they'll help you, anything. So I called my doctor, and she's like, I really don't want to do that unless I absolutely have to. You know, I don't want to issue medicines to you, so try this. And it was basically the same over-the-counter medicine concoctions that the other lady said. So Jeff and I went back to our room that night. We slept, and I woke up the next morning, and I definitely felt a lot worse than I did the day before. We were going to Magic Kingdom. This was the day they were meeting up with our friends after not seeing them for a little while, and I wanted to try to chuck through. So again, I was feeling really awful, so I went and saw the same lady who was actually working the next day. She's like, honey, you're fine. She's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, I just feel like I'm infecting people. She's like, it's viral. She's like, so, you know, it's going around. She's like, there's nothing you can do about it. And she's like, you know, try not to touch as much as possible. I was hand sanitizing like crazy. you know, making sure that if I was coughing into my arm. I was just trying to be the best that I could possibly be and just really taking my medicines. We again left this day in the middle of the day. Christmas Eve was by far the worst day. I woke up that day and I just did not feel good. I was just not feeling great at all. It was our shortest park day. We went and did a little bit of stuff, and then we came back and I just slept. And I felt so bad for my kids, but my husband went and he would take them to the pool, or we would take them to do things. And when we were in the parks, we made the best of it. But it would be a lot of coming back. And around this time, Ellie started getting sick. So I was like, crap. So I called in my doctor, I called in her doctor, and her doctor just gave me an antibiotic over the counter. We went, or an antibiotic prescription, like, and she sent it to the Walmart that was near Disney. So I immediately got her on it. Things were better with her, but I just still felt like crap, and my doctor was like, all right, I will give you something. So I wasn't feeling perfect, but I was feeling a little bit better on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day was awful. My friend was like, you can tell that you're just trying to like push through, but I was really, really sick. Like, I just did not feel good. And then I was angry and upset at the fact that I was so sick, that I worked myself so hard, that I didn't, you know, I felt like I was having the worst vacation ever, and I was being ugly. I was being real mean and ugly, and I'm like, okay, I have to turn this around or I'm gonna ruin everybody's vacation. So Christmas Day, we ended up staying in the parks all day long, and I was feeling a lot better now that we had medicines in us, and things were a lot better, and I never had a fever again, but I definitely had to come back every single day. So you know, take advice of the people in the first aid. They're only in the parks as far as I know, but they will help you. They will give you the best information that they can give you. Take your medicine, do it as best as you can, and rest. You know, we decided that I felt better in the mornings than I did at night, so we would just wake up early every morning, and we were at the parks for extra magic hours, or right when they opened. We would do like a couple hours, and then our fast passes. I always schedule our fast passes for an hour to an hour and a half after park opens. So then we would do a few fast passes, and then I would try to add as many as I could that were like back to back. And then once we hit that limit, or it was like around lunchtime, we would go back. And then we'd end up just sleeping. Jeff would take the kids swimming. We walked around the resort. We went and walked around some of the hotels and saw the different Christmas decorations and stuff there. But after I got out of my bad attitude, and after I kind of like said, okay, enough is enough, you got to get your crap together and stop making everybody miserable, I was a lot better. I tried to make sure I ate every meal, even though I didn't feel like it. I tried to make sure I was super hydrated. I took tons of medicine. If, you know, I had my car there. If you didn't have a car, I would highly suggest getting an Uber, but don't let it ruin your vacation, because I feel like for a few days, I definitely probably ruined everyone's vacation because I was just so miserable. But you know, it is what it is. So we are going to do a do-over this year. We are going to try to go back to Disney, and just have a better trip. And I know now, don't work yourself crazy, but you know, unfortunately, I'm now working. My kids are all in school full time. So we are getting stuck where you do have to kind of go over those busy weeks of holiday times or spring breaks, or over the summer whenever you're like working yourself to the bone. So we decided that we're going to try to go back this summer, try to have a better trip where I'm not working myself to the bone prior to that, and we can really just enjoy it. Yes, it'll be hot, but I think it'll be a lot better than, one, dealing with Star Wars crowds, and two, with, you know, having a ton of work right before I have to go, you know, or I go on vacation. But yeah, I mean, take advantage of the first aid. They're there to help you, and they want to help you. Rest, drink lots of water. If you need to go off site, because I know buying a water in Disney is ridiculously overpriced, go and buy a case of water. We had a case of water. That way I didn't have to go and like play games with water bottles or anything. We just went to Walmart and got me a case of water, got me a ton of medicine, and it really did help. It really did make me feel a lot better in the long run. So yeah, so you know, I figure, I'm shocked honestly that I haven't had someone say something in the video like, oh my god, I can't believe you were sick infecting people, but I took the precautions to make sure I wasn't. If the nurse had told me, I think you have the flu, I would have gone to urgent care right then and there and gotten on Tamiflu or whatever. But I just had something really bad and viral, and it didn't surprise me. And she's like, and whenever I told her like, you know, how I was working up until, she's like, oh honey, she's like, you burnt yourself out. And I'm like, I know. But you know, I'll forever be grateful to that lady. I actually did a applausogram for her because I thought she was just on point, and she was so sweet and just really made me feel better about the crappy situation that I was in. Like, I cried. I was like so upset. She's like, honey, you're fine. Like, don't worry about it. So yeah, so that is my 2 cents on what to do when you're sick at Disney.